Now the heater kicks off. So I brought up all of our rolls of fencing from the place in Alabama, including a couple of scraps, because you know what? Good fencing is good fencing, and sometimes you just need a piece of fencing. So if I've got, 20, 30 feet of a roll of fencing, I might as well bring it with me, especially when it's the heavy duty stuff. And speaking of heavy duty stuff, that is going to be a beast. You are not going to see me picking that thing up and just carrying it over like the other rolls. That's 330 feet of fencing, heavy duty fencing. I don't have my tractor with me here to carry it. I'm probably just going to have to drop it out of the truck and then grab my my dolly and use that to get it into the shed. And yes, I've had people ask me, oh my goodness, are you scratching your truck when you do all this stuff? Like when I pulled the cattle panels out last week and stuff like that. Yeah, I'm totally scratching my truck. This is my truck, and I bought it as a truck, which means it's a worker, and it's gonna get scratched. I mean, I had only had it a couple months when it got its first scratch and dent, and that was, my son did it on accident, but I'm not worried about it. It's a truck that's made for work. Only, I won't say that, never mind. Whew. That went semi well. No, maybe a little closer. All right. So, time to get back to work on Sophie and Amos's shelter. Shelter number 1. I'll most likely end up making 2 of them down there, but one will tide them over for the time being. And, you know, I've had a lot of comments about these structures and people concerned about predators and all of that. For instance, the chicken coop here that you guys saw me building. Yes, I know that this is just chicken wire, and I know that chicken wire will not stop a predator. I know animals can dig in, but that is why I did the apron of wire that went down underneath with rocks and everything on top of that to discourage that. But the chicken coop isn't going to just be exposed like this. We are installing electric fencing all the way around it, the poultry netting from Premier One. We've had really good success with that. It'll keep things like coyotes and stuff like that out. The only thing we've had an issue with when using that fencing, which I've got some set up down there already, which you can't see, is hawks. Because unless you have a covered fence area, you're going to deal with hawks. Hawks aren't stopped by a fence. But things like coyotes, raccoons, possums, anything like that, skunks, it's done a great job. We've not had any issues with those sorts of predators. And yes, I know we're in the mountains now. We've got mountain lions and bears as well. But as I said, and maybe some people missed this part, these structures are not permanent. These are not what we're going to have long term. I mean, we might have them for a while, and I mean, it just really depends on how they do, but I don't see us having these permanently. We didn't have something like this in Alabama. In Alabama, we built wood frame structures, and that is our plan long term for this homestead as well. These hoop houses just go up quickly, inexpensively, relatively so. I mean, they're not free to make, but they're relatively inexpensive, especially considering, you know, these cattle panels I brought from Alabama. I already owned them, and I brought a lot of the wood with me. But these are just to house our animals for the time being so that we can get them out of Alabama and we can get our house on the market so that we're not maintaining 2 houses. And I'd really like my husband to be here, and that can't happen until the animals are here. right, so where I left off with my animal shelter build was where I was taking a 2x4, placing it inside the cattle panel here, and then marking it where I was going to cut it. I cut 4 of these because of course there's going to be one on each corner. It's going to basically make an H shape. There's going to be one on either side and then one going across as a horizontal support. And hopefully you're going to be able to hear me today because it's a little windy. I'm still filming with my iPhone because, as you know, we're in the middle of moving. My computer that I normally edit on is still in Alabama, and I broke my camera. I left it on the tripod and the dogs went crazy, knocked it over, smashed the brand new camera and the microphone. And while I do have a backup camera, I don't have my computer for editing, so I've got to do everything on my iPhone. I do think they make microphones for the iPhone with the little dead cat, that furry cover that blocks wind, but I don't have one at this point. Maybe I'll get one if I do more filming with my phone. All right, so I'm going to go grab my level, which I just realized I left in the house, up there, and then we'll get started. All right, before I get started, I want to show you a little tip. When I'm using my drill, I have a habit of dropping bits. And yes, I know they have magnetic attachments that you can stick in here, and I've had them fall out of those as well. I have a couple of those. I think they're still in Alabama. But if you are like me and you have a tendency to drop these things, let's try and focus there, Mr. iPhone. And you have a tendency to drop these things, here's what you do. Get a can of bright neon spray paint your bit all over, let it dry, and as you use it, of course, it's going to wear off on the tip, but the rest of it's going to stay bright, and when you drop it in the dirt, you can find it. All right, I'm putting one of the 3-inch screws in at the bottom. I'll put in the one, adjust to make this nice and vertical and exactly where I want it, and then I'll put in probably 2 more to hold it in place. And I'm going to do that for all 4 corners. All right, so I've got my 4 vertical posts in place, and you can see up here at the top where I had cut the end of the 2x4 to kind of align with the cattle panel, and I placed them where I would have one of the long pieces right there, which is technically a vertical, for the cattle panel at the top of the 2x4, because I'm going to cut a piece of that plumber's tape. I'm going to use it to attach this to the board at the top, and I'm going to take another piece and I'm going to wrap it over the top and just kind of clamp that down in place. And I'm going to do that for all 4. This is that plumber's tape I was talking about, also called hanger's tape. And I use these to cut it. You can use wire cutters or tin snips. These are a type of tin snip. I think I called them wire cutters in my last video where I was doing this. But anything that can cut metal will do this. All right. So I'm going to cut 4 of the same size of all the other ones I've used. These things, I'm going to have to WD-40 these things. They're sticking. Where are you sticking? All right, so I'm gonna put these 4 on, and then I'm gonna cut a longer one. I don't remember how long I cut the other ones that I did. So I'll just cut it a few inches longer, maybe 4 inches or so. That should be long enough to wrap around the top. Actually, I'll just cut one and test it. And if it's not long enough, then I'll cut a different one before I go and I cut any more. All right. So I've got one of the pieces of my plumber's tape. I've got a screw, and I'm gonna do the trick that was shared with me about just wrapping it over and going through for this one. That'll kind of put it where I need it to be. Let's get the board right up there against the edge of the cattle panel. Am I using the wrong screw bit? Hold on. I think I got the wrong bit. What is this one? Ah, hold on. Wrong bit. Pause. All right. Let's hope we don't drop this one because it's not painted. Try this again. There. All right, got that one up. So let's see. Is that long enough to wrap around? Yes, that'll work. All right, so right there you can see how I put this right up, right by where this piece is. That way it holds it really tight and it can kind of reinforce it right there as well. And I'm going to do that on all 4. All right, so I've got my 4 boards, my verticals, all supported. And before I do any more with those, I'm going to take all of my little pieces like this. It's just a scrap piece of 2x4. You could use 2x3. This one's about 8 inches long or so. It really doesn't matter as long as you cut them at a 45-degree angle like this. I like to put one of these inside the corners of my base. That way it just makes it nice and stable and it just supports those corners. I mean, cattle panels are kind of stiff. You're putting a little bit of pressure on these corners down here, and this will help strengthen that. And again, these don't have to match. You just need to have those 45-degree angles on either side. You want to make sure that your screws aren't so long that they're going to come through your wood. 3 inch is usually pretty safe. 3.5 inch, depending upon your angle, might not be. So I just put one in each corner. You could, if you wanted to, put another screw from the outside in. I would do that if you plan on moving this around a lot. Look who just came out to see her Oma. Baby girl. She's got Oma's headband on. You've been playing with that today, huh? Yeah. What you doing? It's nice outside, huh? A little cold, but it's sunny. Huh? Can you say hi, everybody? Say hi, everybody. She's like, I want to push that button. Ooh, and play with that handle. And play with the phone. There's always time to take a break for Willow Bean, huh? Huh, baby girl? Yeah. That's my glove. Alright, so I got my verticals supported, I got my corner braces in. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to measure in between both of my verticals because I want to put something to support this space right here. So I'm going to measure the inside of that, which is 41 3/8. I'm just going to write it on a scrap of wood. If my pen will work. 41 3/8. And then we'll measure the other side. This side I'm going to put a little bit lower. That one's 38 5/8. Alright, got my two measurements. So now the other thing I'm going to do, because I want to cut the rest of my wood all at once, is I'm going to put some braces for the boards here down at the bottoms as well. And to do that, and I just realized I kind of messed up because I put my corner braces on up high instead of down at the bottom. And now I can't get this in there to attach it. So I'm going to have to take these off. And, but I can go ahead and get my angles for this while I'm at it before I do that. So what I want to do is I want to take a piece of wood that's the same size as this, same thickness, and just kind of act as a spacer. We'll just line this up with that board down there. And I'm going to take this one, and we'll go, let's see, right about there. And we're going to trace this line. All right, so that's the front left one. I'm going to do that for all of these. So now I'm going to go cut those 4 pieces of wood as well as the 2 horizontals that I measured for. And I'm also going to bring down 4 more of those corner supports to brace the horizontals. So I'm going to go cut those real quick. Now I'm going to reattach my corner. All right, and we're going to do this for all 4 corners. And actually, I forgot to put a screw down here. I'm having a day. Okay. See, I got all out of my groove because I had to stop and go to Alabama. Not that I regret it. Alright, let's put a screw down here first. Attach this. Oh, great. And my other battery's dead. Let's see if we can get this one in. Alright, there we go. Now, this is what I'm doing for all 4 corners, and I'm going to take a little piece of plumber's tape and just reinforce across right here. Just like that. All right, I've got my horizontal board. It's going to go up here between the 2 of these. I'm going to attach one side. I already kind of pre-started my screw to make it easy. I want to get that kind of level. Try and fix this one. I didn't want to go in straight. And I got another dead battery. Alright, so I just got done putting all of the rest of the supports at the base of all of the verticals. Now I've just got to add the horizontal piece to this end. And to make it a little bit easier, I went ahead and I started the screw. So I put it in at an angle so that it will come out at the end and go into the other piece. And you can see right there, if you look really, really close, where it's just barely sticking out. That'll give me a head start so I don't have to try and hold the board and the screw at the same time. Now this one I'm not doing as high because this is not the entrance side. This is just the back end of the shelter. I'm just eyeballing it. All right, that's in place. Now I'm going to do my corner braces. These little pieces like that, just like I did at the other end that you can now see. All right, so that is how I'm doing the structure for Sophie and Amos' shelter. Again, this is the back side, so I went ahead and I put that horizontal board down a little bit lower just to support those 2 verticals which hold the cattle panel stable. And I got the anchors down there at the corners that kind of brace all of that. And then over at the other side, I put the horizontal beam up at the very top because this is the door opening that they will go in and out of. Put my corner supports up there. Down there at the bottom, we've got braces. Now I have not put my little pieces of strapping over there on those. I'll do those here in just a moment. But as far as the structure goes, that is it. Now at this point, all I have left to do is just enclose it and cover it up with a tarp. You could use canvas. If you were wanting to make a greenhouse, you would cover this with your greenhouse plastic. You can use these structures for all sorts of things. We've used one of these for storing hay in. They have many, many purposes on your homestead, and really it's just a matter of using your imagination and what you want to use it for.